To create something out of virtually nothing takes a special kind of imagination and drive. You take a thought you form in your mind and release it into the world as a vivid reality. Today we'll be exploring how Kayla, founder of Dallas Black Bloggers, and Simoné, creator of Hooked by Moné, use their creativity to give their dreams physical form on this episode of Our Very Own Excellence.
My name is Simoné Sanders, and the name of my business is Hooked by Moné. So when I think about what got me started with crocheting, it would definitely be my grandmother. Growing up, I would go to her house all the time. So she had this blanket that sat on the back of her couch on the side, wherever she sat it at. But it was always there. I never really paid any attention to it. She passed when I was like 11 or 12. And I remember like seeing that blanket again. And I can't remember if it was my mom or my dad, but one of them said that she had actually made that blanket. And so I was just like, well, how did she do that? And so they were like, oh, it's crochet. And so at the time, like me and my grandma were close. Like when I think of my childhood, she was such a big part of it. So I wanted to do something that kind of like helped me feel close to her. And so I thought maybe like crocheting would be it. It ended up being it because every time I pick up the hook, I think of her. I think of like my memories of growing up, being in her house and, you know, all those different things. I wish that sometimes that she was still alive so I could show her like, look at this like thing that you did that like I do now as well. But it's still like, it brings me joy to know that like I'm able to do something that she did. So when I think about the fact that I started this whole crochet business, I didn't even want to do it originally. I remember I was crocheting because we were in a pandemic. I needed something to fill my time. I was in the house all the time. I already had started crocheting a little bit more anyway, but I just wanted to do it for fun. I was like, it's gonna be my hobby. And then people just kept saying like, you should start a business. You should start a business. And then I remember one day, like I said to Dennis, if I was to start a business, I would call it Hooked by Moné, but I ain't gonna do it though. And then here I am. I eventually was like, okay, I guess I'll do it. I guess I'll start the business. And so then Hooked by Moné became a thing that I did. So when I think about my proudest creation, it would have to be the pocket shawl, pocket scarf, whatever you want to call it, that I made for Dennis's grandma. It has probably 6 different stitches in it. And it was a challenge because there was no video to follow. It was just a pattern of written words, and there were some challenging parts that I had to figure out, but I was able to figure them out. And then just seeing the look on her face when she opened up, you know, her gift and saw the pocket shawl, it's my proudest creation because it was something I worked really hard to do, and then the results I loved, and then the person that received it loved it as well. It's funny because when I started crocheting, for one, there wasn't really anyone my age that did it. I was kind of on my own in that aspect. I didn't really know anyone else that crocheted until I got to college. And I remember going over her house, and she and her roommates would just kind of sit, watch TV, and they would just do their separate crochet projects. So that was the first time I'd ever seen someone my age that did it as well. But it wasn't until last year when I randomly found a Facebook group as I got more interested in crochet that was full of people that were Black, that, you know, people that looked like me that were my age that crocheted. And that's when the whole world of crocheting just opened up for me, because I only understood it as like making hats, scarves, blankets. You might make a sweater, but I didn't know people were out here making swimsuits. I've seen lingerie, I've seen animals. People have gotten like really creative in the things that they've made crocheting, and it just, I don't know. People say that like Black people always take something and make it better. And I definitely feel that way when I think about like the people in those groups and the things that they've made that are just like amazing, especially in the clothes aspect. So Hooked by Moné has changed my life, even with me being an entrepreneur, by giving me something that I love to do, but also being able to spread it to other people while making money, because we're in a pandemic, so a little extra money is always good. So it's taught me to be a lot more disciplined, because it's not my 9 to 5, it's my side hustle. And so because I'm the one creating the stuff that I'm selling, I have to set aside time to create it, but I also have to set aside time to focus on my 9 to 5 as well, because as a therapist, I have to know what's, the most current things that are going on. I have to constantly be learning different things that are going on. So I have to be very disciplined with my time. So I think it's really taught me to do that, because if you're going to start a business, you got to be all in. And I couldn't just do it halfway. I had to fully jump in and fully be prepared for everything that, I'm doing now. When I create something and I give it off to someone else, it's always a little anxious, because I'm a little anxious, because I'm like, I really hope they like it. I like it, but it doesn't matter if I like it. I didn't pay for it. They paid for it. So when I get feedback and I hear people say that they love the things that I've made, it's a big relief of yes, I'm so glad they love it. But then at the same time, it's it just gives me the energy to keep making stuff, because I'm like, okay, I haven't heard anything bad yet, so I think I'm doing okay in this whole crocheting thing. So it's motivation to keep creating stuff and just to keep growing in my craft. The one and most important piece of advice that I feel that I would give to someone that's a creative trying to start their own business is to find other creatives that are already doing it. A lot of times, the creative community, we all like to support each other, and so finding that support is important. Especially you might have questions that come up when you're going through business stuff, and so having a community of like-minded individuals is so helpful, because as you're getting started, you can maybe find the answers to some of those questions that you're looking for free, because of course starting out, money isn't all there, so those free resources are definitely helpful.
And she the shortest here.
My name is Kayla, and I am the founder of Dallas Black Bloggers. I was introduced to blogging. I first started out as a YouTuber, and my YouTube was going well, but I couldn't convert everyone from YouTube or from Instagram. So what happened was I said, I need to do it step by step. I need to create my videos, write them out step by step. And that's what I did. So I decided to write a blog, start showcasing all of the products that I use, and I was able to create my blog based on beauty products. That's how I started out. When I first started Dallas Black Bloggers, I kind of just reached out to some friends. I reached out to some friends who were bloggers already in the community and asking them some things that they would like to do or what they would view as important as a Black blogger, such as resources or workshops or brunches, events. What is it that they were looking for? What they shared with me is that they wanted more. They shared that they wanted a community, they wanted support, they wanted to see who other bloggers were. And when I was able to build this community, I noticed that there are a lot of bloggers in the Dallas area. The purpose of Dallas Black Bloggers is to create unity and support amongst all bloggers. We don't necessarily have the opportunity to be together or be showcased in the creative fields that we are as bloggers. And so Dallas Black Bloggers was created to do so, to support each other, to amplify each other, to create a unity amongst other like-minded individuals so that they have a space to create. There has been so many events that DBB has held. We have had workshops, brunches, and networking events. I would have to say my absolute favorite was right before COVID. It was, the event was the 2020 exposure that happened in January of 2020. The purpose of that event was just to network and come together and support other Black bloggers in the community. The reason why it was so special is because that was my largest event brilliant to this date. We had about 45 to 50 people that came. I had one of my favorite brands, which is Austin East Ciders, which is a beer, actually sponsor the event. I had one of my friends help with catering the event, and I also had this amazing, beautiful space in Dallas, and we were able to connect and fellowship with each other, and I had such a great time. The impact that Dallas Black Bloggers has had on the Dallas Black Blogger community has been amazing. Just watching and seeing the relationships grow together it makes my heart feel so warm. I get to see bloggers take their relationships outside of the internet and actually get to go to brunch and go to restaurants, and they actually collaborate on a lot of other things together. And that's really rewarding. I also think that just being the connector for these bloggers is also extremely rewarding. Previously, we may have not had the space to create freely, to join together freely, and having the opportunity to host the Dallas Black Bloggers community has been extremely rewarding. I wouldn't change it for nothing else. The Dallas Black Blogger community has changed my life in a number of ways. For one, I have been able to create a business around supporting other bloggers through workshops, through brunches, through collaborations, through different relationships with brands and such. And I also have the opportunity to share that with the blogger community. Also, it has changed my life because I'm getting to know who these people are directly. I have built these relationships with these bloggers. I know their Instagram pages. I know what their websites are. I know their first names, and that's extremely rewarding as well. I've just allowed more and more people to be welcomed into my space just as much as Dallas Black Bloggers has been welcomed into their space. Starting to see more and more people come and join Dallas Black Bloggers is cool. It's really cool. There are people who are just starting out. There are influencers. There are celebrities that actually follow Dallas Black Bloggers. It's awesome. It's really awesome. They see the vision just as much as I see the vision. Everyone sees the vision just as much as I see the vision. Everyone is supportive of the vision as well. And to see more and more people join and be involved in this community is so amazing, such a blessing, and I'm truly honored to be a Dallas Black Blogger. Any advice that I would give to an upcoming entrepreneur or upcoming organized leader is to not give up. There are many things that may come your way, but the main thing is to not give up. You have to continue to reinvent yourself time after time to live in your purpose. Sometimes you may not figure out what your purpose is, but if you keep trying, you will realize what your purpose is.